In this episode of Dolly Transformations, I'm going to be making over this huge box of dolls that was a gift sent to me and Colleen. I showed these dolls in an episode of Dolly Diaries. I'm filming this in December of 2022. I'm not sure when you're going to see this video up though. So I have all of these dolls to sort through and identify. Colleen and I did pick through them last night, but it was late by the time she got home from work, and so I didn't have time to do anything other than we did research this beautiful Cabbage Patch doll by Mattel. Alright, here are all the dolls laid out. It looks like everybody is salvageable from what I can see. This Aurora doll, I'm not 100% sure who she is at this moment. She's missing a lot of hair and it's been cut, but I absolutely love Aurora dolls from this era. The late 90s, early 2000s Auroras are my favorite. So I have some hair coming for another project, and I know I'm going to have a lot left over, so I think I should have enough to be able to reroute her. Normally I wouldn't, and I don't even have a body for her in this lot. I'll have to check downstairs, but she's the only one that is kind of questionable, but I'm very impressed because all of the Cave Club dolls and the Ever After High dolls have their hands, and some of these Disney dolls are clearly never played with. They were only displayed. I love this Snow White. She's fabulous, and this Broadway Belle is my favorite. So I'm working on the big box of dolls, identifying them. You can see I only have 2 over there that are left. So there's this Kid Core Katie. Now Kid Core dolls are really generic. They are, they're clone dolls, so once in a while there will be one with a special facial screening that's not used as much, but this Katie doll is pretty generic. Now Colleen is a connoisseur of Kid Core Katie dolls, and I also know a fair bit about them, and she's clearly one of the older ones from the early 90s. They kind of have a different look about their faces. It's not really they did anything different with the faces. There's no different eye dots. It's just the way they're applied.
It's hard to explain, but I usually tell if one's from the early 90s, the mid 90s, or the early 2000s by looking at them.
So Colleen has a bunch of Kid Core Katie clothes on our Flickr. And because they're generic, a lot of them don't have box dates. So, some of these I did best guess of when they were released because Colleen got a lot of these in the store. But I knew we had some earlier Kid Core Katie clothes. You can see there's some of these. So I have a whole guide on Colleen's Google Drive that it's organized by if they have box dates and then certain features, because again they're generically packaged. These ones are just called Girls Club, but that was a very highly utilized thing. So I've looked through the pictures of the outfits she had, and lo and behold is that doll. It's fabulous.
And I'm really excited because I used to have that doll, and I think she was one of the ones Dad got me in a yard sale. Yeah, that's what I thought. I got it at the yard sale in 2011. I had one like this, but then when Shelly thought the Kid Core Katie doll's hair was a biohazard because she didn't know how to fix it back then, so we got rid of most of the few surviving Katies or secondhand Katies I'd acquired as an adult back at the time. So I'm really glad because she looked really familiar to me. And I was at first, in the dim lighting of our living room, she reminded me of a doll I had even further ago. But then I was looking at her again, and I was like, no, she looks like someone I know, someone I have, but not that doll. And then when Shelly brought out that picture, it all made sense, because I'm that's why she looked familiar. Because I'm pretty sure this is the same doll I used to have, and I'm so excited, because I'm
what are the odds, right?
Friend.
I mean, it is best guess, but there's really nothing wrong with putting her in their outfit because she's a match. And that sometimes you have to do that. I have this whole list here of dolls and outfits that I've identified. But there's some, there's this J.C. Penney Rapunzel doll and this Tycho Ariel. Ariel's actually older, but these Tycho Ariels are really generic. So what I did is I looked at the spare outfits I have, and she's a match to 91 Holiday Ariel. So I'm just calling her that because she's the same thing. I'll never know what she was originally sold as because there aren't any pieces to her in here. And likewise with this J.C. Penney Rapunzel. This isn't her outfit. This is actually a Disney store outfit. This same doll was released in JCPenney in different clothes from 2013 to up until present day. So I really don't have any idea of how old she is. I don't have an outfit to give to her, so I'm just calling her the 2013 one because, a lot of the dolls from this bin are a little bit like kind of from that time frame, like this Ariel.
And then I've been actually trying to figure out about this doll, the Sparkle Girls doll. Now,
Isn't it scary that I knew what kind of doll that was?
it was.
I don't even own Sparkle Girls.
And I was starting, what you do now, I was starting to doubt Shelly's assessment when she was Sparkle Girls, when she didn't immediately pop up when I typed in Sparkle Girls doll, green and purple hair. Then I realized I was spelling Sparkle Girls with an S instead of Z, which made a search difference. And also, I realized she's actually a doll from Fine Fact. However, this doll was sold back when they were called Fun Time instead of by Zuru.
She was actually distinctive enough though to know what set she came in.
Yeah,
whereas
she's really
like Tycho Ariel is much older. She's from 1991. Early 90s, because they changed out this for the twinkly eyes in 92. So if you're trying to identify dolls and like they're generic, it's okay. Like you can basically either come up with the most logical fit based on other dolls you have from that bin, which I don't know where all of these came from. Sometimes you can do that, and other times you have an outfit already. I've done that with my Tycho Ariels, or maybe if there's one you just really want. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, as long as you make sure that that generic quality, there isn't anything special. That's how I do it. And, that way they have an actual name on the inventory. I can actually call them something on Flickr. I can remember who they are. That's how I do it, because a lot of these newer dolls are super generic, and some of the older ones are too. That's not just limited to dolls of today, like Ariel and Kid Core Katie. So everyone has been inventoried and identified, and I just filmed their little before and after before clips. But now they need to get ready for laundry, so we're going to start with the big guys because they need to go in the washing machine for their cloth bodies, and I have some American Girl stuffing I need to wash at the same time. We're going to get all the laundry soaking. There was one casualty. There was a Mattel Rapunzel that had really cut hair, and it felt really coarse. And Mattel Rapunzel dolls from that time frame pretty much all use the same facial screening, so yeah, it was a very useful body donor though. Very handy. Nice body.
Maroon, and there's...
Alright, so all the dolls are undressed. You can see that there's a bunch of containers sorted by color, calling really, really separated things. And there's color catchers going in each one. Sorry about all the floor crumbs. These dolls had a lot of crumbs on them.
Also, some of these bins just have American Girl clothes from an unrelated...
Yeah. So while Colleen starts the laundry, I'm going to clean their faces first. This is what I usually do. For manufactured cabbies, I will clean their vinyl first, put them in the pillowcase in the washing machine, and then he'll be all done. He'll just have to hang to dry. But then with Laura here, she has rooted hair, but obviously there's no sense in combing this and cleaning it or anything until after she comes out of the washing machine. So yeah, she'll need more work after. And I will be using dish soap and baking soda to clean all of the dolls' bodies, and I will also use dish soap as shampoo, and then this conditioner, doesn't matter what kind of conditioner, afterwards. So for the accessories, Colleen put a bunch of dish soap in. They don't really need baking soda because nothing's too grody. my cabbies are done in the wash. I'm going to get her boil wash water going. I need to wash her hair and condition and detangle it. Almanzo has yarn hair, so he's all set, but he has the binky mouth and his head filled up with water in the washing machine. So Colleen's downstairs shaking him super hard, trying to get it out. Sometimes you have to take the heads off, but that only happened to me one time. Now I use homemade laundry detergent so it doesn't leave like a real bit like residue on things. So that's why it's not a big deal that her rooted hair got washed. And I did wash it with dish soap before I tossed her in, just in case there was any big pieces of debris. Boil wash your Dolly. What is that? It keeps snagging. Alright, I'm rinsing the laundry and some things bled, which is why we separated them out really carefully. But these are all of like the satin material, mostly the fashion doll clothes that don't bleed.
Almanzo's shirt is still really like, the collar's really dusty. You can tell that it collected dust for some years. So I'm redoing it, and I got a dry color catcher. So I'm not reusing the wet ones yet.
Due to the sheer number of dolls in this lot, I didn't film myself scrubbing all of them down with dish soap and baking soda because it would have been really redundant, and I didn't include any of the natural sounds because we were listening to music. So basically I would gather a little group of dolls and I would wash a few of them, like scrub their bodies, and then I would put them aside on the towel for my sister to start washing their hair and detangling, but I ended up getting ahead of her because she's kind of a slow detangler. So I ended up, after the first little batch, with each succession, I would wash their bodies with baking soda, dish soap, then I'd wash their hair twice with dish soap, and then all she would have to do would be condition and detangle them. And eventually I caught up to her altogether, and I helped her detangle and condition. But the baking soda and the dish soap do a really nice job. It makes the hair smell really nice, the bodies smell really nice, and I feel confident that like any germs and gross things are washed off. And I obviously check every part of the body and make sure it's been scrubbed down. It's easy to overlook things if you aren't in the habit of like deep cleaning, but it's important to like spread apart the legs and clean the back and the hands underneath the arms. Now some of these dolls, like Slate here, he's newer, so he wasn't really like dirty. He just smelled like somebody else's house basically, but I just like to wash everything because that's how I am. I know it bothers some people, but I just have to. I just can't not clean stuff. But it was very fun just to sit, listen to music, and to clean them. And it did take a while because there were just so many dolls to get through, but we actually managed to get them all done in, I want to say like 2 hours maybe, including boil washes. So obviously with a group of dolls this large, they had to be boil washed in batches, so I'd fill up my kettle, and I'm using this really big bowl that is like a mixing bowl because you can fit more dolls in there. I don't like to put too many in a bowl because they can suck up the heat from each other, but it was great for the dolls with really long hair, and because it's so big, it's not as likely to tip as opposed to overloading a small bowl. So basically when a little group of them would be done, I would heat up the water and then put them in. These were all saran haired dolls or nylon haired dolls, so they could just be left unattended in the boil wash for several minutes while we continued working on the rest of the dolls that were still in the process of being detangled. But when the Kanekalon haired dolls needed to be done, I saved them for like the last batch or so because you don't leave them to sit. You basically dunk them in and out quite a few times and comb them because their hair can be very fussy in the boil wash. If you've ever seen it crinkle up and panicked, it's fine. That's just because the water was a little too hot, and you can fix it with a slightly less hot boil wash and fine tooth combing it. And yeah, some of these dolls did go in like a second time right away, and one of the Rapunzels got a whole second boil wash the next day after she dried. I don't care how many boil washes it takes, I will do them until I am satisfied with the results because each one will make a difference. Now normally I detangle all of my dolls. However, this Broadway Belle had ringlets that were still pristine looking. She had a hairnet on, and I did this with my sister's Jewel Secret Skipper who we got on eBay who also had perfect ringlets. I didn't want to like run a comb through it and mess them up. So as you can see, I grabbed dish soap and I literally kind of just like coated it into the hair, but I didn't rub it. I just kind of squeezed it in, and I did that twice. And then I rubbed conditioner in the same way on Skipper, but I forgot to do it on Belle, but she didn't really need it. And then you can see I didn't boil wash them or anything. I just put gel right on top of their hair, and it basically cleaned out any debris and the dry rotted hair elastics, but it didn't mess up the style. And this is just a clip of me detangling with conditioner, a wide tooth comb, and a fine tooth comb.
So, we washed all the clothes and they dried by the wood stove last night. That's actually where everything dried, by the wood stove on our drying rack and then on a towel on top of the washing machine and dryer. I'm going to photograph the things that we need to photograph. I'm going to wash this one more time because the collar is still kind of grayish and gross, so Colleen can take care of that. And then the dolls that can be dressed right back up are going to get dressed right back up. The Cabby Twins outfit shirt needed another Oxy soak. So I'm using some really hot water in with it to help get out the stain. And then Raven over here is super gluey. Now, some of the other dolls have glue, but this is like it's actually like matting because it's so gluey and it leaves residue. So this is my glue treatment. I put some OxyClean, which this is a dollar store brand. I was able to find it again. I don't think you put enough in there. That's all right. You know, sometimes I put too much in. I don't do it all the time because the glue does leak out on its own, and it will eventually all come out. It'll dry on the hair, and you'll be able to brush it off and then just wash it out. So it's a lot of work, and the problem is it can be difficult getting the ratio right. So if you put too much in, it can make the doll salt, and obviously the hot water is coaxing it out of her head. But I'm okay if I have to soak her a few times because it's that bad.
I'm gonna leave it up. It was so bad that when I went to take out her hair elastic, her like factory hair elastic to wash her hair, the elastic wasn't coming out for some reason, and at first I didn't realize why. It's probably because the glue had it like cemented.
Obviously, like if you didn't want to coax more glue out, you can dissolve the OxyClean in warm water, and then once it's dissolved, you can add cool water in to it, but I don't mind like basically coaxing the glue out because it's so bad at this point. I kind of want it to melt out as much as possible. But I'm generally speaking not too fussed about the glue because it's easier just to let it do its own thing. But poor Raven's a hygiene issue. So, and yes, the dollar store brand works perfectly fine. Sometimes I'll use the regular OxyClean if that's all I can find. It's oxygen-based cleaner, so if you don't live in the United States, you might not find it as OxyClean, but if you type in oxygen-based cleaner in whatever country you're in into Google, they'll have like your version of this, because people ask me all the time. I live in the United States, so I don't know what brands are, but that's how I find things for people. I just Google like oxygen-based cleaner, you know, Australia or whatever. So yeah, you can also make your own with washing soda and peroxide, I think. If you check out my Miracle Cure tutorial, I have the exact ratios of how you can make it yourself. So I've been doing flat iron treatments. These are the ones I've done so far. Ignore that. That's a totally separate project. And the last doll I have to do is this JCPenney Rapunzel. That should be fun because it's so long.
I ended up flat ironing all of those dolls in, I want to say, like an hour and a half's time. And I finished them right in time to go to work. But basically, they had been washed the day before, so I had to re-wet their hair with the water bottle, and I did Rapunzel last because she had the longest hair and I thought it would be the most temperamental, but it actually was pretty compliant. So I didn't film like every single flat iron because again it would have been really redundant, so I just included a little clip. I don't use any products typically when I flat iron. You can use a heat protectant if you want, but I haven't used anything like that in years. I mean, unless a doll has like really stubborn hair and I feel like they need a little bit of that like leave-in conditioner type heat protectant, I might do that, but that's a very rare occasion. And this is just a very relaxing process, and it makes a big difference on dolls that have nylon hair or like really bad, I think acetate is a hair type that they use. I'm not exactly sure what it feels like. Polypropylene is pretty much the same thing as nylon, and based on what I've read from the websites that sell manufactured doll hair. So some dolls, the boil wash won't fix all of their issues, and you have to go and flat iron it. And as long as you're doing it safely, you're not going to have any problems. I have done hundreds of flat irons, and some of my dolls I flat ironed 5 or 6 times as I was learning. It is a learning curve. A lot of times people will come to me asking for help, and they'll say, I followed your tutorial exactly, and their hair still looks bad. What do I do? And they kind of panic. And the thing is, like, what looks effortless when you watch someone on YouTube is years of practice. It's muscle memory. It's learning like the tiniest trick that makes the process go by easier. So don't feel discouraged if you do a flat iron and it doesn't turn out the way you want, or you do a boil wash and it doesn't turn out the way you want. Patience is key, practice is key, and not giving up on the doll is key. I was not good at flat ironing for the first few years that I did it, and I still have seen improvement in my boil washes since I filmed my tutorial back in 2016, and I was pretty decent at it back then. It's all just learning what works for you and being patient and not giving up. And sometimes you need to walk away from a project in order to recollect your thoughts and not get frustrated. And that happens to me plenty of times. Even now, even with like having a lot of experience fixing a wide variety of dolls, sometimes I just need to put something away and regroup and find a new way to solve the problem. But you can save many dolls. Don't give up. And this is just a clip of me doing a trim on each of the dolls that I flat ironed. This is Katie I'm using in this particular segment. But I actually busted out my professional shears because the cheapy pair I bought for dolls is really dull, so I couldn't be bothered to try to work with them. But this is something that I do almost after every flat iron, because you can get it really sleek, but at the very end there might be some like stray, haggard bits, or if the hair was really bad quality or really damaged, it might still feel kind of like puffy at the ends a little bit. And depending on the doll, how much I trim off varies. Like Katie just needed a little skimming. Most of them did. I literally just kind of point cut the ends just to shape it up nicely and make the ends feel super sleek. But then on some of the dolls that are a little worse, I may take off like a 1/4 of an inch or even a 1/2 an inch if it's still pretty gnarly. But doing this extra step makes a flat iron last. It won't refrizz, it won't get all bulky. I have dolls I flat ironed years ago that I comb regularly, and it still looks perfect.
So there was this delightful Hat-tastic Party Maddie outfit in the lot, and this is my Way to Wonderland Maddie, who I got at the Salvation Army at the very beginning of 2017. She still doesn't have her outfit. She was wearing Briar's outfit from this line before, and I was so excited when I saw Maddie outfit because she can wear it. This doll didn't even have hands when I got her, so she's moving on up in life, and the handmade earrings I made happened to match this perfectly. So happy for Maddie. So I'm taking photos of some of the dolls that are all done, and this sparkling Ariel that I just got is so nice. She's perfect looking. I actually have a doppelganger of her that one of Colleen's coworkers gave her almost 2 years ago now. I want to say it was the beginning of 2021. She gave Colleen a bunch of her daughter's old unwanted dollies, and they were pretty much like all in this style budget with like molded bodices and things. And so I made her this skirt out of, it's actually the same shirt that I made my custom Odette's dress from. And this little matching headband. But this one has her actual crown and her actual skirt. So she's gonna go out and display, and I'm gonna put this lady away for now. can we talk about this nice Snow White? She's beautiful, and she knows she's beautiful. She just threw these two down to the ground when I was about to pick up my camera and take the photo of them. So I've had this lady since 2011. She was one of the very first dolls that I bought at the flea market when I got back into collecting. And she was actually naked, but her outfit was in the bin. So we got her from Bratz Guy, who, if you watch my Bratz collection videos, you know we bought a bunch of mangy Bratz dolls from him. So he let us dress her up in her outfit and have her for $1. And she doesn't have her muff, she doesn't have her shoes, neither does this doll, but, like, can you see the difference in the dress? Like, how much nicer this lady's is, and, obviously, like, she was really dirty, so I had to wash out all the gel and stuff from her hair, whereas with her, it held the style even after I washed it out. And then this poor girl, this Snow White was moldy when I got her. Like, moldy, and I think she might have been one of the ones that was beheaded that I had to reassemble. I had to, like, stain and remove a bunch of mold marks all over her legs. She was from the Memorial Day bin of 2014, so these two have had a hard life. This Snow White is gorgeous, and she knows it, and she is kind of mean. So I'm retiring this lady, and I'm giving her stand that I have to redo someday to this lady. So, sorry Snow White, you've served me well. You will go live downstairs in storage with moldy Snow White. So this looks a lot better from the inside now. So the Rapunzel dress I did before, the picking was all on the outside. When I checked the hemlines, they were really nice. Like, there was no fraying, and it was like a thicker material than this. A lot of times I'll do it as like a preventative measure, but there was absolutely nothing wrong with that dress. This one was really torn up on the inside, like it was fraying badly. And obviously you can use, like, I want to say some people use clear nail polish or fray check. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, to prevent the seams from fraying, but I don't know how that works if you already have a lot of it fraying and unraveling. And what I like the most about the candle method is that, like on Rapunzel's dress, there was a lot of picking on her little bow and on the front, like corseting, and on the sleeves and the outside. And when you hold it around the candle, it actually shrinks up all of the, like, pilled fabric and pulled fabric, and it looks a lot nicer. And I've actually saved money on American Girl clothes online, like Colleen's Rebecca dolls satin pajamas. They were really damaged, they had been picked at a lot, but you can't even tell because we got them I think for like $12, because I was able to use the candle method to fix all the picking. So now Snow White can get dressed in this.
Sorry, inexperienced camera person here. I was trying to make sure it was actually on, but I was trying to get an angle. So this Rapunzel, while my cousin was here fixing the Jeep the other day, I actually washed and reboil washed this doll again. It does look a lot nicer than it did before I did the second treatment, but her hair's just so long, and you can see it has a lot of split ends. So Charlene, I think she'd benefit from her treatment because I'm already going to have the materials out to do her. The top of her hair is really nice, but the ends are really nappy, and her arms are really loose, so we thought that it might help her. I really hope that this is in focus. I'm going to get out the dish soap and the conditioner and the kettle and give them another treatment.
So Bunny's my only doll in this lot that needs earrings because most of them are too new to have, like, ear holes. But strangely, even though she has a headband with bunny ears, she has pierced ears. And so I have the beads picked out that I'm gonna make for her. I thought these little, like, tag charms that say handmade kind of remind me of the Alice in Wonderland, like, eat me. And then I'm going to make her a little, like, stretchy scrunchy thing. Since she's such a simple doll, I thought it would really help, and she does not have ear piercings. I finished Bunny's earrings, and now I'm going to work on Holly's scrunchy hair accessory. I'm using this stretchy cord from the Dollar Tree. This is actually what I use when I make my American girls their name bracelets. And I'm going to string some of the pink and purple beads here to match her outfit. I have to sew a few things. This isn't everything I have to sew, but this is sort of like the easy bunch. So this Tinkerbell doll, this is not her original outfit. This is something really beautiful and handmade that someone put together for her out of felt. And the only thing it's missing is like an actual closure, like snaps. There was a sewing pin stuck back here, and obviously I don't want a sewing pin, so I have her for a fit. And then Giselle over here, she's supposed to have these little fabric flowers like sewn into her hair, and I wanted to keep them, but I couldn't properly clean or detangle her hair, and I was like, that's not very practical anyway, so I am going to mount these to a ribbon and sew some snaps and make like an actual removable headband, so that way if she needs her hair redone or I want to put her in a different outfit for some reason, I can just take the headband out. And then Ariel, this is Holiday Ariel. I have her tail, but I don't have the top, so I'm gonna make a top out of lace. So for Ariel's mermaid top, I'm using this piece of lace, and what I'm going to do is, she has a very tiny torso, and this is obviously quite transparent, so I'm going to fold it over so it's the right like thickness and width for her, so it's not like all see-through. And then I'm going to put a few stitches in to fold it over, and then I'll show you what I do from there. So what I'm going to do now, I stitched each little peak of the lace where it folded over, and right in the dead center, there's no snaps on this or anything right now, but I'm just going to put a stitch through here so it cinches it in together and makes like a little bikini shape. So I've added the stitch in the middle, and you can kind of see the shape taking place, and I'm just going to size it on her and put the snaps on, and then this will hold her over until the eventual day maybe I can get an actual bikini top. I'm not good at sewing. I BS a lot of things. This is not the proper way to go about doing this, but I find that using lace for like skirts or tops is a really good cheat. So I'm going around and I'm trimming Almanzo's yarn hair. You can see it on the floor. So I just thought I'd show you the difference. Basically what I do with my yarn haired cabbies is I'll take fabric scissors and I take my fingers and kind of coax the little loose fluff and I trim it down. So I've done most of the front, and you can see it looks a lot nicer, and then you go to the back and he looks a lot messier. You can see he's got some like lint in there. So I think it's just a nice finishing touch, and it makes him look a little bit neater. And I'm done on Almanzo's haircut. I mean, obviously they're always going to have a little bit of fuzziness here and there, but it looks a lot better. And there's a lot of yarn I have to pick up on the floor now. You do have to be careful not to cut the little loops. So while I was making my new Rosetta an outfit, I decided to make my old Rosetta an outfit. She was borrowing a Lady Lovelylocks dress, but it didn't look very fairy. So I made them coordinating outfits. I used the same lace I folded over for their tops, and then different colored laces for their bottoms. I actually had to sew a double layer under here because it was so sheer, but this one came double layered, and then I just added on these little flowers. And I know they're not the best, I'm not really great at making clothes, but at least they have something cute to wear. So she's all bald now. All the hair is out from inside the head too. You can see the plugs. And fortunately, none of her plugs tore. I think using the little flathead screwdriver helped instead of those crochet hooks that sometimes poke through. I have some leftover hair from another project. It's Golden Girl Saran hair. This was what was left of the second skein. Now, because this is extra large format doll hair, this is 32 inches, and usually I just buy the standard format because I was working on a bigger doll. I think that I will have more than enough to reroot her, and it just happened to work out that this is really close to her factory hair color, but it's a little bit more yellow gold, which I think will be nice because it will make her features stand out a bit more. It looks a little more lively and vibrant. So I didn't actually show myself rooting Aurora at all because I got really in the groove, and before you know it, I was done her. It only took me 3 hours to do this. She was kind of problematic, but we'll talk about that later. I'll explain why. So I have her hairline, like the part line, separated for thatching, and then this is her bangs that I've already thatched. I'm keeping them long right now because I have to boil wash all of this so it sits the right way, and like wash the hair, and then I have to add the curls.
To be honest, I've never actually seen anybody else wash the freshly rooted hair. People do style it, obviously, by dunking it in boiling water with curlers or whatever, but I have always, since the very first reroot I've done, washed the hair twice with dish soap and really scrubbed it in. Sometimes I'll comb the soap through. I just feel like during the rerooting process, the hair just gets dirty from constantly being in contact with your oily hands, and it just feels so much nicer. And because it's not exactly cheap to buy this kind of hair, because I always would rather invest in the hair fiber that I like the best as opposed to cutting corners. That's just personal preference. But because of that, I want the hair to be the absolute nicest it can be, and I think it makes a difference because sometimes, like if I set the part line, I haven't washed it yet and I can feel that the hair is still coated in like nastiness. One of the criticisms I've gotten from people in the past is that I clean things too much and like I go overboard, but I don't really see how it's doing any harm. I mean, I think it's common sense with this, just because, like I said, even someone who's quick at rerooting like me, this Aurora took me 3 hours, and then there was like the time to thatch. That's a long time for the doll to be sitting without her body, to be handled with your hands, to have like needles being poked in and out of her head. I have to keep like wetting the hair as I put it in. The hair goes through a lot, and I think that it does get dirty just because it's like new, but I do admit I wash brand new dolls from the store, which again, I feel like I notice a difference, but I admit I have like a compulsion to clean. If I don't clean stuff, it kind of like gives me a little bit of distress depending on what I'm going through. So personal preference, but if you haven't tried it and you do a reroot, I personally recommend you just soap them up and then condition them, and you're gonna get even better results. But that's just my personal preference. And I wanted to clean her hair obviously before I put the rollers in, because why would I put the curlers in her hair and then wash it out, because I was hoping to maybe keep some pretty tight ringlets, which isn't the usual style I do. I typically like dolls that I can like comb through their hair for hygiene purposes, but because she's an Aurora, I wanted her to have pretty, you know, those sausage type curls that she has, those ringlets. And I did keep her bangs long for this portion just because I didn't want them springing up. I cut them right before I put the curler in. I didn't film myself doing that, but I did. I cut it to her chin. When you do bangs, you never want to, like, if you're going to put a curl in, you never want to cut them right at the length you want them to be when they're done. You need them to be longer. If you've ever gotten like a 90s Barbie whose bangs have deflated, you'll notice how long they are, and that's because they lose length when they get curled. So that's just something to keep in mind. If it's straight bangs, it's still good to leave a little extra length when you first cut them, because you might cut them crooked and you need some wiggle room, and you don't want to have to reroot a part of her head that you just rerooted, especially if, say, you ran out of hair. So I didn't film myself doing all of her curls, but you get the idea. Something I did with Aurora that is different than what I've done in the past is I actually left these rollers in to dry. I typically take them out, especially if you watch my curl tutorial with my American Girl Lainey. American Girls have a human grade Connect-Lawn, and the problem if you leave rollers in while they dry is it tends to like be harder to get the little bumps and kinks out. But see, Aurora has saran hair, and it is less responsive to being styled, so you need to use like more heat in the boil wash, and you need to keep it in longer in the water so it can really hold that style later, because you want, like I wanted this to be like a permanent quote unquote do. I mean, obviously I could take it out with more boiling water and whatnot, but I wanted it to stay in while she would be out on display and stuff. So I let these air dry with her in front of a fan for a few hours. But if this was regular, like fluffy Connect-Lawn or like polypropylene or something, which is softer, I would have taken them out right away, because the little bands on the perm rods I was using would leave little crimpy marks. It doesn't happen with saran hair. Saran hair is just chef's kiss to work with. I love working with it. It's so easy to like root and thatch, and it's very forgiving when it comes to styling, as long as you know to like use hotter water with it and leave the style in longer. But yeah, I was not 100% pleased with how her curls came out, but that's because the hair was a little shorter than I wanted it to be. But she had hair, and that was what was important. For the before and afters. Keep in mind that some of these dolls won't have much of a transformation because they didn't really need much work.
I have 2007 Shimmer Princess Snow White before. This is her original outfit, and this is what her hair looks like. Love this doll. Shimmer Princess Snow White after. I made her this cute little headband. It's lace that I sewed a little bow on. And that's her hair, nice and shiny. She's really cute. She's much more attractive than my first Shimmer Princess Snow White that I got naked at a thrift store years ago, because her lip liner is a lot more subtle. I love this Snow White. This is 2005 Glitter Princess Snow White. This is not her outfit. This is actually a 90s Barbie fashion pack, which I know what it is. That is her hair. Glitter Princess Snow White after. She's adorable. She does have really loose arms. You can tell she was played with a lot. This is Sparkle Snow White's outfit. The dolls look so similar, but the twinkles in their eyes are in different spots, and the Sparkle Snow White has tinsel. And that's her hair. She got a few boil washes because she was so beat up, but she cleaned up wonderfully. This is 1998 Holiday Princess Snow White, who it looks beautiful as is, but she's got some dry rot in her elastic, and I don't like it when their hair is like super crunchy. Holiday Princess Snow White. I love this doll. I already had her, but she is the bomb.com. I wanted to get like a boxed doll of her to open, of course, because my first doll, as you saw in the previous clip, was so incomplete, and obviously her dress wasn't as nice as it could be, but this doll is pristine, and she is definitely going on display. And I did what I did with Belle, where I kept her style in, because it was so perfect, but I did want to wash out the gel and whatnot, and I put diluted gel all over it. She's fabulous. One of my favorite Snow White dolls. This Holiday Princess line was one of the collections that I knew I had to complete when I first got into collecting, because I had loved them, like Jasmine and Belle, since I was a kid. So it's so awesome having such a beautiful Snow White. 1997 Holiday Princess Belle. She is actually a different country make variation than the one I already have. She's even got her little ornament here. And this is her hair before. Fabulous Holiday Belle after. This doll is so nice. She's pretty much like new. She was just missing her shoes. And that's her hair. I did boil wash it straight because it's Connect-On, and I did that with my other Holiday Belle. This is one of my favorite Belle dolls they ever made. She was one of the first ones I wanted to collect when I started getting into dolls again. Almost 13 years ago now, when I found the one my dad bought me. She's beautiful, and this doll is a different country make, which is cool. This is my favorite 1998 on Broadway Belle. She, again, looks really nice. She even has her hairnet in still, and her ringlets are beautiful. Broadway Belle after. She is my favorite thing ever. One of my favorite things that I got in 2022, for sure. One of the coolest Disney dolls in my collection. She is a true work of art. I wanted her since I found out she existed way back in the day, as I said before, and I never thought I'd have this doll unless I picked her out on eBay. She's fabulous. She's exquisitely made. Her hair is still really perfect looking. I just took the net off because her hair needed to be washed. And you'd see I put a little like jaw clip in instead of messing up the curls by putting a new hair elastic in, because her factory one had dry rotted, so it needed to come out. It was already flaking out. She's amazing. Everything about her is just impeccable. I could gush about her all day. She has some really slight like yellow discoloration over here, probably from being displayed before. A lot of dolls get this whether or not they're displayed. It's a chemical reaction that happens in the ABS plastic, and you can use like traditional stain removal method to remove it, you know, like a peroxide based product, but on some dolls they'll retain the treatment results for a long time, and then on other dolls it'll get worse. So it's kind of a gamble, and because it's so faded and like you can't really see it in real life, only in like photos, I'm not gonna even touch her because I just don't want to risk her whole torso going yellow, because that has happened before. This is 2000 Dazzling Princess Belle. Dazzling Belle after. I didn't have a spare outfit for her. I already have a Dazzling Belle that has her proper outfit anyways, so that meant I could put her in other clothes. I have a lot of these classics Belle dresses from the 90s that fit her, because she has like the same body mold just with the light up feature, and her hair cleaned up really beautifully. I put it in a little twist, and I put a bow in it that's coming out. But this Belle has one of the coolest facial screenings I've seen. She's got these very delicate eyes. This is 2019 Signature Lorelei. Clearly not very played with, but she needs a little TLC, some grooming. We have Signature Lorelei. She had really nice hair. I mean, it sticks up because that's the way it's meant to be styled. But I didn't have to flat iron it. I just put it in a braid because I wanted to be able to distinguish her. I love Lorelei dolls. Might be my favorite Cave Club character. It's hard to say. And she did have her pet and everything. All of the Cave Club dolls did. This is 2019 Signature Slate, who also needs just a little bit of maintenance to clean him up. Slate after. He's so cute. I wish they had made other versions of him. Now, my old Slate that I got on sale at Walmart like 2 years ago, his hair has less defined crimps and it swooshes back more. So I like how this guy is easy to tell apart because I like to be able to tell my dolls apart from one. 2019 Signature Emberly. She's awesome. I love this doll. Her crimps are a little messy. We'll see what we can do about that. Emberly after. So I put her hair, I don't know if you can tell, I put her hair in like 2 ponytails to make it unique from my first Emberly. This is Colleen's favorite character from the Cave Club line, and I don't blame her. I love her hot pink and yellow hair and her cute little Flintstones-esque outfit. 2015 Ballet Holly. The nice thing about being pretty much all molded is you don't have to worry about shoes. Ballet Holly. I have a fondness for these molded ballerina dolls because I had to make so many of my Barbie's little tutus out of lace. Now she had her skirt, which is awesome. But I did make her this little scrunchie out of beads so you can take it off and put it back on. And her hair's a little bit uncooperative, but she is adorable. 2014 First Edition Bunny Blanc. This one's much nicer than my other doll like her. She's got her little cuffs. These are not her shoes. It's her hair. We have the adorable bunny after. Her headband is put aside right now because it kept falling off, but you can see the little earrings I made. And she doesn't have her shoes, but she is more complete than my other doll, who also has chew marks in her face, and that's her hair. She's not gluey or anything, which is great. 2012 Dream Princess Sleeping Beauty ×2. Neither of them have their outfits. My 2 Dreamtime Princess Sleeping Beauty dolls. They're twins. Their hair does look a little bit greasy because they have glue that kept leaking out, and if you leave the glue to do its own thing, it'll just dry up on the hair and you can brush it out. It might take a while, but I didn't feel like soaking them in OxyClean because they weren't like super sticky like Raven yet. And these are really cute girl and doll matching nighties from like the 90s and 2000s. Like this is a 12 Dancing Princess one, which I got both of these at the flea market in various lots. And I think it's cute because I don't usually have dolls to wear these unless they're like the sleep style dolls with the soft bodies. 2013 Sparkling Princess Sleeping Beauty. She actually is wearing a shoe. I don't think that's hers though. Sparkling Princess Aurora. She's cute. I like these later Aurora dolls head sculpts. And she's got her crown, which I didn't see her and Ariel's crowns until I went to clean them. They were all wadded up in their hair. She's got her little skirt. Not that I would have minded making her something. That would have been fun too. And she has saran hair. This is a JCPenney Rapunzel. I'm not entirely sure what year because she didn't have her outfit. This is actually a Disney Store outfit. She's not a Disney Store doll. Same manufacturer, but you see that she has like the basic points of articulation instead of the fancy ones with like the bendable elbows and wrists. So I'm not really sure. This same doll was basically packaged in different outfits from 2013, either 2012 or 2013, all the way up until like present day. So I'm just calling her 2013 because I usually go for the default of the oldest if I have no other information to tell me otherwise. JCPenney Rapunzel after. She's back in this Disney Store dress because both Colleen and I really liked it, and it's similar to what she would have been sold in. I always wanted a JCPenney doll just because, you know, cool variation. That's her hair. It's got like a slight bump in it from where she was sitting in the container. She smells really good. I ran out of my regular conditioner and I had to use this little sample packet I saved. Colleen must have gotten as a gift or something, and it has like hemp in it, and that's all I can smell. Oh yeah, she smells so good. A very generic Mattel Rapunzel. Again, I'm not really sure which one she is because Mattel basically repackaged a lot of the same dolls, but she's got the bend and snap legs, which makes me think she's older. And since I believe I have a spare outfit to the featuring quote-unquote Rapunzel with the hair extension, I'm gonna call her that because it's a really common doll and she's matched the one I already have. Hair extension, quote-unquote Rapunzel after. So as you can see, I had this spare dress, and that's why I'm calling her that doll, because she's the same as the one I already have, and why not? I did give her like this style with 2 little braids intertwined into her big braid. She does still have like split ends and stuff, you can kind of see in the lighting, but she got quite a few boil washes, and it did help a lot. She's cute. I love this era of Mattel Rapunzels. 2012 Color Magic Brush Rapunzel, and this is her outfit. She's fabulous. I love her colorful hair. It does need some work, for sure. Color Magic Brush Rapunzel. I am obsessed with her. She has this amazing dress, which is like a more saturated take on Rapunzel's usual dress with this really cool pattern in the middle. And she has this sick color change hair. I am such a sucker for dolls with hair gimmicks. You can see there's like purple on this side and pink over here. And I might make her a hair accessory later. I haven't decided because she already has so much going on in her hair. But she's definitely going on display. I'm going to make room for her. This is 2007 Enchanted Giselle, who's supposed to come in a pink dress. Her hair is pretty nappy, but she still has the little flowers in there, so let's hope I can keep those in. Da-da-da! We have Giselle after. And this beautiful dress was on one of the Aurora dolls, and I thought it kind of looked like Giselle's outfit from the movie. It's obviously not. It's really nice quality. I don't know if it was homemade or it's not brass key, because we looked into that, at least not what we could tell. But I put her little flowers on this removable headband. And that's her hair. So cool to finally have an Enchanted Giselle doll. You just don't see them all that often, and people are very competitive about them online. This is 2015 DC Superheroes Wonder Woman. I don't think she's really was played with much, because she even has this little like factory elastic tabbing her stuff down. She's really nice quality, really heavy, and has this fabric outfit. We have Wonder Woman after. I love this doll. She's really nice quality, and she's got a lot of charisma. Her outfit's all like separate pieces, which surprised me, and she has saran hair with beautiful blue streaks in it. She is awesome. I'd love to find more dolls from her set in particular. This is 2015 DC Supergirl. She's like the basic version. That's why her outfit's all molded and her shoes aren't removable. And that's her hair. I'm pretty sure it's like a really cheap nylon. So, girl's gonna need some work. Supergirl after. Not much of a difference in terms of outfit because she comes molded into it. But she had really nasty feeling, like almost like horse hair, but synthetic. I did have to flat iron it and trim it. And you can still tell it's very stiff, but I like her nonetheless. I think my sister and I would have really loved these DC dolls if they had been out when we were kids, because we liked playing with my Batman action figures, and when we'd play like Sega Genesis video games, we'd pretend to be the video game characters, so this would have definitely been up our alley. 2004 We Three Friends Dance 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 Janet. She's a Stacy doll. And I have her outfit. Fabulous. We Three Friends Dance 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 Janet. Yes, she has her outfit. Fabulous. Rain, rain, rain. Janet had to get undressed because she was wearing this, but no worries. I had a rain, rain, rain Stacy or Lila coat that she could wear. And this is her Kanekalon hair. I was gonna put it in a bun, which I thought would look really cute, but because this is like very soft Kanekalon, it has like a lot of little flyaway bits and the bun would look messy. She looks so cute. This is 2013 Sparkling Princess Ariel, who needs some help. Yes, indeed. Sparkling Princess Ariel. She has, her hair is a little poofier on one side because of how she was sitting in the container I had them in. But she is so cute. I love this head mold Mattel used in the later years. I'm not sure what they're using now because apparently they just came out with Disney dolls again. This is her outfit. I'm really glad she has her skirt because my first doll did not. And her hair is really, really soft. It's a really high quality nylon. I want to say it's like My Little Pony nylon. This is 1991 Holiday Ariel by Tyco. Now, technically speaking, as I mentioned earlier, she's generic. The same doll was released with a lot of things, but I happen to have the mermaid tail, so we're going to go with that. Holiday Tyco Ariel after. So I had this tail, which I got at a thrift store many years ago, and that's why I decided to call her Holiday Ariel. I made her this little matching lace top out of a piece of lace, and it gets the job done. I mean, obviously I would like to get, you know, all Tyco clothes for her to wear someday, and that's her hair. Some Tyco dolls have really dry hair, but she had pretty laid back, nice to style hair. I didn't need to flat iron it or anything. This is 2001 Movie Magic Mary Kate. She's actually pretty nice. She even still has gel in her hair and her torso is not all discolored like some of my others. Movie Magic Mary Kate after. I have some spare Movie Magic bits and bobs in storage, so that's what she's wearing. And she is one of the more attractive ones of my dolls because she's my fourth Movie Magic Mary Kate. And some of them are quite ugly because they have really harsh makeup, but she has a very nice look about her. Sadly, I don't have a fourth Ashley to be her sister, but that's okay. I'm sure I have an Ashley without a Mary Kate in my collection that she can twin with for now. This is 1992 A Girls Club Katie. Again, a generic doll. We happen to have been able to match her to an outfit Colleen already has. This is her curly hair. It's probably going to be straight when you next see it. Dun, 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 Katie after. Colleen had this outfit already. As I said before, she's a match to that doll that came in this originally. I don't know what she was technically sold in. This is her hair after I flat ironed it. Obviously her bangs still have like a slight kind of frizziness to them because it's really hard to get at them with the flat iron. Kidcore dolls have really low quality hair that frizzes unless you flat iron it. So even if you're a kid and you keep it really nice, it's gonna frizz. That's why we don't have many of our childhood Kidcore dolls anymore, because we had to cut their hair because we didn't know any better. And after you cut it, it would still frizz. But Colleen is obsessed with this Katie. It was her favorite thing from this whole bin. This is 2018 Funville Sparkle Girls Power Girls. She was sold in the big pack. She's the only doll from the pack. She's got this really cool like split hair like Harley Quinn. And the lovely Sparkle Girls Power Girls doll. So she has a little pen mark on her eye, but I might have to take off when the weather gets nicer. I can put her out for stain removal. This is her hair. It actually was really easy to flat iron, but it definitely needed like further work besides a boil wash and like a little trim. However, she did lose quite a bit of hair. Luckily, it's easy to hide. And this is a brass key dress that Colleen chose to go on her because it matches her hair. It's a little big because the dolls that are supposed to wear this have more of like the 1966 type Barbie body with like the big boobs. These are both 2010 Jakks Pacific Tinkerbell dolls. I'm calling them From the Lost Treasure, but they are really generic. Some of them did have special facial screenings, but these facial screenings and hairstyles were pretty common. So I'm just calling them that because I already have a Rosetta that I'm calling that, so why not? And they don't have their outfits or anything. This is a homemade outfit though, which is awesome. So it's their hair. It's gonna need some work. And this is Rosetta after. I flat ironed her hair. Had to give it a slight trim, and obviously this is the the outfit I made out of lace. Tinkerbell after. When I flat ironed her, I kind of curved the flat iron to keep a bit of like the poof in her hair. She cleaned up nicely. It's hard to flat iron a doll whose hair is this short, so her bangs aren't as nice as I'd like them to be. And then this is the homemade felt outfit that was on her when I pulled her out of the box. Whoever made this was really talented. I definitely could not make something this awesome, and I think it's so cute on her. 2013, my first Disney princess picnic party, Snow White. I say I believe because she is that doll, but I'm not sure what the data is for sure. I'm guessing 2013 based on some Amazon reviews and what I know about these dolls. She's adorable. It's too bad her cool picnic stuff is long gone. And then we have this big, beautiful Jakks Pacific Snow White. I love her. She'll go right in my cradle with my other Disney princess babies this size. And this is her hair. Again, her bangs look a little bit squished because I had these dolls set aside, and some of them pressed on her hair, but she is so cute. This is my first Snow White of this style, and she has this really pretty dress. This is 1997 keepsake collection, quote-unquote Laura. That's what we decided to name her. She's a Mattel Cabbage Patch Kid. This isn't her outfit. This is made by another brand, but it'll work for my cabbies. It's really cute. This is her hair. Her little creepy eyes. And this is Laura after. She does have some like gappy bangs because I couldn't find them all when I boil washed her. But I styled her hair in a braid just to keep it neat. And this is our talking Cabbage Patch Dolls outfit. I thought it looked really cute on her. I thought she was strange looking when we first pulled her out of the box because she has the inset eyes and pierced ears, but now that she's clean, she looks more like a Cabbage Patch doll. I love how unique she is, and I'm so glad that we got her. And this is a 1986 Cabbage Patch Twins doll. He looks almost exactly like my doll I named Dennis Paul, but he has the binky mouth, and this is his actual original outfit. And we decided to name him Almanzo. And this is Almanzo after. I wish I had more binkies, but I do not have enough binkies for all of my binky-mouthed cabbies to have. He cleaned up so nicely. His outfit especially was gross, but you can see it's all nice and bright. I did have to buy name brand OxyClean because I think the stuff that I bought at the Dollar Tree was expired because it didn't foam up, and I've never had that problem before. I used a dollar store brand Oxy products for years, so at least I was able to get rid of the stains, and he smells all nice and fresh. 2014 Way to Wonderland Raven. She even has her shoes, both hands. Her hair doesn't look too bad. And this is Raven after. So she did get a few Oxy soaks, but as I explained before, the dollar store brand stuff I had must have been expired, even though I had bought it very recently. I actually had 2 jars, and I tried them both, and they weren't foaming, which was a good indicator that there was something wrong. So then I bought regular OxyClean, and I did 2 treatments of that. I did another one off camera because after the first one it had improved, but she ended up salting a bit from being in the like useless dollar store OxyClean overnight. Like it just got up into her hair plugs so that it will kind of powder off. You can see there's a little bit of powder on her hair because she's just been so many OxyClean soaks now that I'll probably have to wash her out again a little bit later as it comes out of her head. It's not a big deal. It doesn't do any harm to them. You just have to wash it off. It's like a little powdery residue that sometimes happens. When I went to rinse that off, her hair got really, really sticky. So I did 1 more soak with regular OxyClean, and now her hair isn't sticky at all. It's really nice. That's just shine. It's not any kind of glue. The reason why I even bothered to do her was because her hair was so sticky. It was like matting together. It was terrible. And she actually still has a little bit of like tackiness on her vinyl, like on her head, the plastic of her head, because that's how gluey she was. It was an aggressive case. My first edition Monster High Laguna was also this bad. I've had a few dolls that are like, they've gotten this bad before, and it usually takes a few soaks, but this is the case where I'll bust out the OxyClean instead of just waiting for it to come out on its own, because it just gets really disgusting and I feel bad for the doll. She is beautiful and she's not gluey anymore, and she's got this really stunning outfit. I'm so glad to have this doll and so grateful for her, and she has her whole outfit with the amazing 2001 sparkling Sleeping Beauty. Didn't want to get my hopes up, but it is her. She has a bad haircut, and what's left of her hair is really quite thin, so she's gonna need a lot of work and a body. And this is Sparkling Aurora after. This is her reroot with the Golden Girl Saran hanger. It is shorter than I would normally have rooted her, because obviously you can see I curled her hair, so it made it shrink up a bit. But this was leftovers from a project, so it was already cut to that size, and I didn't want to be wasteful. So I wish it was a little longer. I do think her part line came out pretty good. Especially considering she and her bangs too. You can see a little part line for the bangs. Especially since she did have some holes that tore. That's what I meant when I said her reroot was difficult earlier. I also had like done her whole front hairline, and then when I had finished everything and I went back and I was double checking, I noticed that some of the plugs were missing from the side of her head for some reason, so I had to like go in and redo that. I don't know if they like moved around when like if the hole split or something, but it's all sorted out now and it's been fine since. I think this color does a lot for her, and we did get her a body. I think Sparkling Aurora is supposed to have a 1966 like bosomy Barbie body mold, but we didn't have that in her skin color. But we did have this pale 91 Mackie body, and actually it works better for the outfit we put her in, because this is my Forever Fairy Tale Aurora's dress in blue, and Sparkling Aurora is supposed to come in a blue dress. I always wanted this doll. She was one of my favorites from this line growing up, but I never ended up buying her, and I even looked into getting her on eBay as an adult collector, and I just never ended up pulling the trigger, so I'm super excited, and that's why I rerooted her, because I always wanted her. I think she has like one of the most beautiful faces ever, and I always loved that she came in the blue dress. And so all of these dolls are officially made over, dressed, photographed, etc., which is very exciting. This took a while, mostly just because the Aurora doll over there needed a reroot, and I had the doll I originally bought the hair for that was very troublesome to reroot, that I wanted to finish first to make sure she was covered before I did Aurora. But now they're all set and ready to join the rest of the family, because they've been hanging out up here for my thumbnail shot. I hope you enjoyed this video, and seeing all of these beautiful dolls get made over. It was such a generous gift. I absolutely love each and every one, and if you're interested in seeing pictures of any of these dolls, feel free to check out my Flickr. You don't need a Flickr to view my photos. Every doll is up there, even the duplicates, so you'll just have to look in their corresponding albums. And until next time, love your dolls, love yourself, and love your life.